What's up, investors? You're watching MJF Invest. We're live. But today's video, it doesn't matter if you're watching it live or if you watch it later on. This is going to be my cryptocurrency portfolio reveal. We're going to discuss, my thoughts on a couple of the spaces like DeFi, NFT marketplaces, and which protocols that I'm really interested in. If you've been watching my work at all, I talk about Bitcoin quite a bit, right? And I talk about Bitcoin as a store of value that's going to disrupt gold's market cap. I talk about, Bitcoin having a $1 trillion market cap, and then the first target would be gold's $10 trillion market cap. The main thing is a hedge against inflation, right? We look at the consumer price index, which is the CPI. That's usually the indicator of how inflation is, and it says 2%. But what is 2%, right? Like your Netflix bill is up 2% maybe, but if you're trying to buy a home or you're trying to go to college or send your kid to college, it's not, inflation is not 2%. So the savers are getting screwed. Fiat currency is basically a medium of exchange, and that's it. There's no store of value aspect. There's no unit of account. I've been talking quite a bit about Bitcoin, but I wanted to do this video and talk a little bit about Ethereum and some of the layer 2 solutions, as well as other layer 1 blockchains that I'm really looking at that I think have really big potential in the future. I am also an Ethereum bull. I would not compare it quite to Bitcoin because I view them as two separate things. I view them kind of as a tandem, a modern gold and a modern silver kind of, Bitcoin is scarce. It has a finite supply, and that's really what's attractive about it. And it's truly decentralized as well. When Ethereum, on the other hand, is kind of semi-decentralized. There's an infinite number, and it's kind of going after a different market. It's going to be wants to be a world computer that layers applications, enterprise software, everything runs kind of on Ethereum being the base layer. Really fascinating. I just wanted to take a look at this chart really quickly here. If you look right here at a chart, and I just found this website called glassnode.com, and they do a fantastic job of showing these on-chain charts and on-chain metrics with on-chain analytics. It's a whole world. It's very fascinating. They do an incredible job, and if you're in the crypto space, you definitely need to be checking this website out. They really get in depth as far as like account addresses, transactions, market metrics, market indicators. They have an assortment of charts, an assortment of insights. They even have an academy on the website that'll teach you how to read the charts, which is really cool. So very exciting. But on the screen right now there's the Ethereum chart, and this is their total transaction fees. And the one thing about Ethereum, right? Ethereum is a great product. It's revolutionary. It's groundbreaking. It's it's disruptive, right? But it's having a tough time scaling. Because the fact that and that's why they're changing their proof of work consensus to a proof of stake, and those gas fees right now are very high, sometimes $200 per transaction in some cases, which is crazy. So I was wondering how is that affecting what's going on right now, but to see this chart, and if you take a look on February the 23rd. Ethereum generated $49.8 million worth of transaction fees. And a couple of days ago, on April the 20th, or April the 19th rather, they generated $47.3 million worth of transaction fees, which is just incredible, when you put that into perspective. If you just got into the live stream, please tap that like button. I'd really like to get some eyes in here. If you could drop a comment too. I see there's a couple of viewers. I don't know if the audio is okay. I'm trying this live stream out for the very first time. But again, if you just got here, I was just taking a look at this Ethereum chart and just discussing that, that's pretty good monetization. If you look at this dotted line across the bottom here, that's $10 million in fees per day. And you take a look, they're all year long, they've been making over $10 million a day. And look, quite a few days they were up, way up, 43 million, 49 million, almost 50 million. Look, bunch of 30 millions. I mean, so Ethereum is not having a problem monetizing. What I'm very excited about, and this is why one of the first tokens that I wanted to talk about was the Matic token, Polygon Network, formerly Matic Network, but the token is still Matic, which is MATIC, and they're extremely interesting because they're claiming to be Ethereum's Internet of Blockchains. Okay, and if you take a look, because of Ethereum's problem with scalability and high gas fees, they're proposing to do the transactions off chain, which close to zero. So it would look something like this. Here would be Ethereum, and then they would have the transaction layer, and they would do the transactions off the mainnet, and then with the Matic token, and then still processed through Ethereum. They're not like Polkadot. Polkadot is another project that's claiming to be Internet of Blockchains, to make blockchains inoperable. And the thing about that is Polkadot is their own network. Matic, Polygon rather, the Matic token, they're the beneficiary of Ethereum's security, right? Like they're compatible with Ethereum. And a real asset, I believe, to Ethereum, because if you're looking at the transaction fees and the growth and the way Ethereum's the adoption's growing, when people start to realize that these gas fees, they could get them near zero with Polygon, I think that's going to even make it more, bring the adoption even higher, even more to scale. So there's a lot of cool stuff going on. This is one of my absolute favorites, in terms of potential and upside. Again, and this is kind of what it would look like. So Ethereum would be here, and this would basically be the transaction layer. And they would do that with a bunch of different implementations. Right now, Matic uses the Plasma. That's pretty much, all side chains are using Plasma, to do transactions. But when they go live with the zero knowledge rollups and optimistic rollups, which should be fairly soon, I think that this is going to be really big, because that allows them, especially when they go to the ZK rollups, they could process upwards of 35,000 transactions per second at close to 1 penny. So remarkable technology, remarkable stuff. And I mean, they're in a great position, and they're presenting a solution to a real problem, and it's a lucrative problem. And right now, Polygon's market cap is just under $2 billion. So, offering a service like this, would 10x in the next 12 months be out of the realm of possibility? I don't think so. I think this is a $4 or $5 token pretty soon. So I'm very bullish on Matic. So that was definitely one of the first ones that I wanted to talk about. Your gas fees too high. Hey, Genuine, thanks for joining the live stream. Hey, if you guys just got here, make sure you tap that like button. I dislike trading with Ether gas fees too high. I prefer to trade with XRP or USDT. Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense. And that's why I think that Matic, I don't know if you're familiar with, I don't know when you got in here, but I was just discussing Polygon and the fact that they can present zero knowledge rollups and optimistic rollups and get up to 35,000 transactions per second at close to zero. I think that presents a really, really lucrative solution. It puts them in a really good position, because I think most people, especially people who want to create NFTs, you want to spend gas fees, $270, $80, $100, sometimes $200 in gas fees on Ethereum. So, I think as people start to see Matic and see some of the collaborations and partnerships that they have, for example, every day it seems like they're announcing a new collaboration or a new partnership. Just a few days ago, Curve Finance, they're going to be building on Matic. Decentraland is a game, and that's another token I own in my portfolio. Mana token, which is a virtual world where you could buy virtual land. You have a virtual character that can go to work, and they have really cool stuff. And And as I'm saying it, it's like, oh, that sounds kind of goofy in a way, like who would do that? But if you look around at the space, CryptoPunks has an NFT marketplace there. Nifty Gateway has an NFT marketplace there. OpenSea has an NFT marketplace there. So really big players in the space have NFT marketplaces on Decentraland, as well as the fact if you pay attention to like macro trends, as far as like NFTs, like or art right now, right? People got into the crypto art, virtual art is a fad right now, right? Really cool, really fascinating. But at some point, I could definitely see virtual land. I've heard about virtual real estate for quite some time. I just didn't really understand it. And I didn't really know where it would happen or how it would work. But the last couple of months that, I really started to get into NFTs, get into marketplace, NFT marketplaces and seeing how it all functions and works. And on Decentraland, they offer, people are buying plots, virtual plots, right? And Atari, for example, started a casino. Like I mentioned, OpenSea, Nifty Gateway, which is owned by Gemini. A bunch. They're selling NFTs right in this game. So I mean, it's just very exciting times. And the Mana token, I think, will really benefit from that. So that's another token that I'm holding and I'm very bullish on. But to circle back to what I was talking about with Matic a little bit earlier, that they're proposing, really fascinating. A lot of builders, a lot of developers are heading that way. Like I said, Decentraland is one. Curve Finance, Aave has a liquidity pool that they're building with Polygon. Polygon also just announced a partnership that they're going to be getting oracles from, or the oracles, they spell them a little different, but from IQ, from token IQ. So really exciting opportunity, I feel like, for the Mata token. And again, at 35 cents, for under 40 cents, I mean, I could certainly see 10x potential. I think even, oh, I'm sorry, I messed this up. Let me see, can I do this? Can you guys see this? Yes, you can, good. So this transaction layer, like I was talking about a little earlier, look right there, Ethereum, $47.3 million in transaction fees back here on, just here on April 19th, and the most ever February 19th, 49.8 million in fees for that day. So Ethereum, again, they're getting people, they're getting the transactions. It's just a matter of, if they're going to be able to, continue at that price. Not sure if they would. Yeah, definitely. I'm a big fan of that Matic token. Huge fan. That's one of my favorite like speculatives. And also too, Glassnode. I just want to put this out there again. I mentioned it a little earlier in the video, but because it's a live stream, I'm going to mention it again. Glassnode is a fantastic website for on-chain analytics and on-chain metrics. It's really, really in-depth. And they have like an academy, like a little academy icon and tab that you could just go and they'll show you, how to read the charts. Because some of these charts are really confusing. At first, sometimes I was looking at it, I was like, whoa. Like, for example, right here, this is Ethereum's price, right? You see there's the 2K there. And then here's the transactions per day, the volume, and then with the prices, with the money that they're generating. And look at this. Over $10 million every day almost this year, except for a couple days. But they more than made up for it, 50 million almost on these days, over 30 million on these days. So they got a lot going on. So those layer 2 solutions like Matic, there's another one called Loopring, which is the ticker is LRC. Really interesting. Yeah, definitely. Thank you. If you guys just got in the live stream, make sure you tap that like button. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. I normally talk about stocks, but the last couple months, man, I've really been studying crypto, really been getting into it. The Bitcoin Standard by Saifedean Ammous. I mean, this book changed my life, I feel like. It changed the way that I think about money, and it got me thinking and asking myself, you know, do I know what money is? I'm 37 years old. You know, I'm a hard worker. I work hard my whole life. I'm middle class. I'm a middle class guy, working class, you know, small business. You know, but do I understand what money is? Do I understand the role of money? Do I understand how monetary policy affects my life? And I really didn't. And I'm ashamed to say that. But this book really got me thinking. And again, it's not necessarily, he doesn't even talk about Bitcoin until like page 150. He basically just goes through the history of money, right? And to understand this stuff, like if you don't understand what money is, it's kind of difficult, right? And that's what led me to Bitcoin, is when I started thinking about the inflation and thinking about, you know, do I want to be a saver, right? And as a store of value, fiat currency is abandoned. It's a medium of exchange. And then once I started getting into Bitcoin, it started opening the door for me to get into Ethereum, get into some of the DeFi protocols, and incentivize me to understand and go and attack and learn how blockchains work, understanding the technology behind it. And man, it set me down a rabbit hole, man. I was taking this course on Coursera, amazing course sponsored by Princeton University. On YouTube, MIT, the 2018 fall semester with Professor Gary Gensler, who was just promoted to one of the 5 chairs, one of the chairmen of the SEC. He was the professor of the course. I mean, it's free. I mean, so there's no, you know, if you want to learn this stuff, you can. And if I can do it, anybody can do it. And I'm amazed at how much I learned in 6 or 7 weeks. You know, I stopped making videos for like 6 weeks or 7 weeks. And I mean, I hit these books up, and I was taking classes, and man, this space is really exciting. This technology is really exciting and groundbreaking. And I'm thrilled to be a part of it. I really believe it's the future. There's a few other ones as well, you know, that I really like. I want to talk a little bit about Cardano. I don't know if you're, if anybody's familiar with Cardano, but Cardano is basically, to sum this up, Cardano is, the founder is a guy named Charles Hoskinson, and he was one of the original founders of Ethereum. I think there were 7 people that were on the original team that got Ethereum off the ground, and he's one of them. So basically, Cardano is what Ethereum would have been if he was in control, not Vitalik. And Polkadot is another one. Gavin Wood from Polkadot, he's the founder of Polkadot, was also one of the founders of Ethereum. So it's kind of interesting to see. You know, both of them were very, very into making blockchains inoperable, and Polkadot is aiming to do that. The thing about Polkadot is they don't get the benefits from the Ethereum blockchain like Matic does. That's why I really like Matic. Another token that is unbelievable and I think so important, and literally could be one of the biggest technological breakthroughs in humanity, in the history of humanity. And I'm not saying that loosely, but this is a big deal, a really big deal, Chainlink. And what Chainlink is they're basically the bridge from the traditional world, from the decentralized world, if you will. They're the bridge of smart contracts and blockchain, right? Like they're the bridge to smart contracts, and they use oracles. It's basically like nodes, and what they do is they're inputting real world data into the smart contracts, right? The smart contracts will need that. They need that real world data. Sometimes it could be the temperature, sometimes it could be the time, sometimes it could be, if it's sports, it could be or betting or lending, whatever it is, it needs real world data, right? The smart contract. So that's where you would get it from. You would get it from oracles like Chainlink. So, I mean, just think of that. I mean, the use case is so big. So right behind Bitcoin and Ethereum, I would have Chainlink as my third, and it's my third largest holding is Chainlink. And I wanted to make sure I mentioned that one as well. So fascinating. I'm going to do a deep dive, a video where I really get into Chainlink and explain it. And I'll do another video on Matic where I could really explain it, the technology. But I just wanted to get people familiar already. That was nice that you had said, if I had 75,000, how much would you invest in crypto? I was thinking 75% in crypto myself, and my thoughts. Oh, wow. If I was going to invest 75,000, Right now, honestly, I would buy Bitcoin, man. I would just buy Bitcoin. That's what I would do. I would buy Bitcoin, and maybe I would buy one Bitcoin. Right now, it's a nice price, and I would probably put the rest in Ethereum or Chainlink. I would just put it all in crypto. I just, and I don't want anybody to think like I'm promoting like apocalyptic state. The sky is falling. Oh my God, we're in so much trouble. But if you think about this inflationary period right now, right? Let me see if I can find this really quick. With the dollar is losing purchasing power. The dollar is losing purchasing power almost every day, right? And you could look at the CPI, which is the consumer price index. Look at this. Look at this chart, man. That's what your dollar. Are you getting that? Your dollar right here. Look what it was worth back in 1913. That was it. That was the purchasing power of the U.S. dollar, and look what it's done since. Made a little comeback here, and now look. And this is only going to 2013. Now you also consider as well. The pandemic. Let's see, does this chart have that? Let me see. No, this one doesn't either. Okay, but it's also consider the pandemic where we printed another $3.8 trillion, right? It's scary, man. And you know, you look at the CPI, you know, interest rates are close to zero. They're being manipulated to be close to zero. And basically, and this is why I suggest everybody read this book. And even if you don't like Bitcoin, even if you hate Bitcoin, but just to understand a little bit the history of money and the history of specifically fiat currencies and how the debasement of these currencies have all followed a very similar path. And it starts with it starts with an unpredictable amount of the currency being pushed into it. You know, it's easy money, right? We need sound money and hard money. You know, so, you know, my question also would be to President Biden, and I'm not knocking him. He's the president of the United States. The utmost respect. I'm not a political guy. Yeah, I'm not a political guy, but if you could print your way out of trouble, why is he trying to raise capital gains taxes? Why don't you just print more money? Obviously, there's a problem that we're going to face in for the last 30 years. Since we got off the gold standard, for 30 years, each administration has put it off. They don't want to deal with it. They're thinking of re-election. Put it off. At some point, and maybe we'll be able to put it off for another 5 years. Maybe we'll be able to put it off another 10 years if we're lucky. But at some point, this is going to be dealt with. We're in a position now where the national debt in the United States is literally more than the money that's in circulation, which is really scary. You know, oh, by the way, too, I'm not a financial advisor. You know, make sure you do all your own research. You know, I'm just saying what I would do personally. I'm just a guy, though, you know, and I have no, you know, inside information, or I don't know any more than anybody else. But what I would do is I'm concerned about inflation, possibly even hyperinflation. And when you start to consider, too, like, do I want to own stocks? If stocks are in a bubble, if the currency itself is going to continue to be debased, I mean, you know, there could be a period where the stock market gets hit really hard, where anything that you buy today could be, you know, way overvalued. Okay, great. Yeah. You know, anything that you buy today could potentially be overvalued. So that was the position that I was in myself, and I did this about 2 months ago now. And I started to think, when I started to ask myself some of these questions, and I came to the conclusion, like, I still own my Tesla, but I have a pretty low average cost there. You know, I still own Roku, and I still, you know, I have a fairly low average cost there as well. Invitae, Pure Storage, I still have my stocks, you know, that I believe in, but I didn't take any new positions. And I was sitting, and I was asking myself, if for 6 months or 8 months, if we hit an inflationary period and the stock market takes a 50% hit, what stocks would I hold on to? And there was about 6 or 7 of them was what I had in my head. So I sold everything else, and I literally put everything else I owned into Bitcoin for that reason. And now I'm playing around a little bit with DeFi and Ethereum and layer 2 solutions and Chainlink. But mainly because I want to be out of fiat currency. I don't believe in the currency. I think that there's an old saying, right? If you go back, it's 60-40 stocks bonds, right? To protect yourself against inflation, because the market is so cyclical, right? And that you'd always do well if you were 60-40. That during times of inflation or times of a cyclical bear market, that your bonds could carry you enough that you do okay. But I don't think that's the case anymore. Hey, Sean, thank you for joining, man. How are you? I'm trying out this new, I found out about this StreamYard, and I said, let me go live, and just see how it works out. I'm not sure how the audio is. I'm not sure if there's lag or not, but I'm just going with it. I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the DeFi protocols. If you just got here, we talked about Matic a little bit. We talked a little bit about Bitcoin, about Ethereum. Sean, you and I discussed this a few times. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. Hold on. Let me see here. Boom. We were going over this. Check this out, because we discussed the gas fees on Ethereum quite a bit, man. But check this out. Look, this is just 2 days ago on April 19th. Look at this. Ethereum brought in $47.3 million they generated in their fees for the day. And look, on February the 23rd, which is their all-time high, they brought in $49.8 million worth of fees. So people are still using it, right? Like, people are not sick of these gas fees at all. So that makes me even more bullish on. That makes me even more bullish on Matic. Because look, people are paying those fees right now. Like I'm touching on, and I think as Matic, people are okay with this. $50 million in one day. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of people using this. I don't know how many speculative assets are generating $50 million in one day. You know what I mean? Very good point. You told me to check Playboy out a month ago, and I didn't. Wow, it's $50 now. And I guess you know what it is too. It wasn't. I can't. I just don't have the time to. I have a list that I keep in, and I can't get to all of them. So many people, recommend stocks, and then I have, other things that I want to look at myself, and then. And then I end up losing track. So, I wish I listened to you. I missed the boat. Great call. Congratulations. I hope you made a bundle of money on it, man. I really do. But really good call on that too, by the way. I guess you were thinking NFTs, right? And you hit a home run. So good for you, man. I hope you enjoy. Yeah. Couple other things too. Oh, by the way, as well, I don't know who's in here, who's cryptoed. This is going to be a crypto video. I just want to give a quick shout out to this site called Glassnode. This is a fantastic website right here. Just want to give you an idea. It's all on-chain analytics, all on-chain metrics. By the day. So they'll show you, look, for Bitcoin, for Ethereum, for whatever they have. Look at the list. The list goes on and on. All of them. Obviously, Bitcoin is the most fascinating, but look at all the from derivatives, distribution, entities, exchanges. All the on-chain metrics are here. Like, check that out. Or you got to have an account, I guess, for some of them, but addresses, active addresses. And you see, it's pretty cool, man. And so I was messing around with that for a while. If you guys just got in this video, please smash that like button. I really appreciate it. we're talking about cryptocurrencies. I'm just talking about some of the tokens I hold. Another token I wanted to talk about as well, I want to give a shout out to and let you guys check out as well. I hope you do. Let me see if I can get it. Where is it? Coin market cap. Is the BAT token, the basic attention token. I'm extremely fascinated by the opportunity that the BAT token presents for a couple of reasons. One being, if you remember, if anybody's been watching me for a while, I used to talk quite a bit about data and giving up our privacy, right? And we give up our privacy in the name of advertisements, right? So we're giving up our data. They're hoarding it. They're giving our data away for market and advertising. And I think that was always BS, right? But if you look here, there's a protocol right here called Basic Attention Token. And what it is that you actually can earn rewards for your attention, and it's more target marketing. They have 25 million active users per month on the Brave browser, which, matter of fact, let me see if I can show it to you right here. I've been using it. Oh, shit. There it is, the Brave browser. It's the lion. I don't know if you can see it, but there's the lion right there. And I've been using it. You accumulate BAT tokens for your attention. It's target specific, based on only what you search, not based on your location, not based on how long you look at a certain picture. Not like all this crap Google and Facebook and all these companies do. BAT is against that. It's a counter to that. So it's just really cool to see. They're going to have a $1.5 billion circulating supply, and they already have 1.492 billion tokens in circulation. So fairly soon, they're going to be maxed out right around the same time that they're going to be launching their search engine. Believe it or not, the Brave browser, which this is going to sound crazy, is the most, as far as time goes, it's the fastest browser available over all the rest of them, over Chrome, over Firefox, over DuckDuckGo. One of the things I always talk about too is having a founder or advisors or team members that have previous experience. Basic Attention Tokens founder and CEO, his name is Brendan Eich. Brendan Eich is the founder of Firefox, so he's had success in the past with a browser, and he's also the creator of JavaScript coding language. And if you think about how big that is, that literally changed the world. That allowed websites like Facebook to be built and things like that. So when I talk about, looking for projects that have leaders or advisors that have had success previously, this is exactly the type of stuff I'm talking about. So that's why I'm very bullish on BAT. I really want, if you're watching this video, definitely look into this one, do some DD on it. Great technology, great idea, and it serves a real world purpose as well. Kind of makes the world a better place. So that definitely makes me happy. Sean talking about Algo. Yes, Algo's another one. Algo's great. I don't own Algo, and I do have to continue to look a little further into it. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, cool. And what was the other one I wanted to talk about? BAT. What's a really fascinating one? I started my DD on last night. I don't own it yet, but Cosmos, which is Atom, ATOM. Man, that blockchain looks amazing. They have real users. 300 ADA, yeah, BAT tokens, nice. Also, I own ADA, I own Cardano, and I get the philosophy that that Cardano, which is the tokens ADA, ADA, could possibly be a little bit overvalued at the moment, because I think it's a $44 billion market cap, and they don't even, they don't really have anything running on it yet. But the fact that I think next week sometime they're going to announce they're going to announce a deal with the government of Africa, and the government of Africa is basically going to try to build their whole economy on Cardano. So if they could unlock liquidity there and have success in that region, I mean, you could expect that, you know, if the base, your proof of concept could be getting Africa, you know, to a level of efficiency or to a level of economic success. I mean, who wouldn't use Cardano? So definitely I'm going to be keeping an eye on that. That has the potential to possibly, you know, be really big. Tezos is a good one too. I don't know enough about it to sit here and tell you I love it or I don't love it. You know, the technology looks profound, but most of them do. You know, you read the tech on these. If you just read the overview or you read the description, you go, wow, man, that sounds amazing. Most of the cryptocurrencies sound that way. But with that being said, you know, when you want to get down into the brass tacks, you gotta look at what the consensus is. Like, what mechanism are they using? Proof of work, proof of stake. How are they doing it? Where are their nodes? How many nodes do they have? Are their users growing? You know, like the functionality of the blockchains. Like, you know, is it inoperable with other blockchains? Does it have side chains? You know, those kind of things like that. Like, so before I can say I like something or don't like it, I gotta look into it a little more. But you know, on the surface, Tezos looks great. You know, ADA 445B tokens are concerned. I don't think so. I don't think so. It's gonna, but you know, you gotta have your sights set to a realistic standard. Like I've seen a bunch of YouTube videos already go, Cardano's gonna 100x. How would they 100x? Think about it. You know what I mean? It's like, that's just silly. Like they're not gonna 100x. If they did, it wouldn't be for, you know, many decades or a decade at least. But you know, they could 10x, 15x. You know, in the next couple of years. That was one I wanted in my portfolio because I just didn't want all speculative tokens in my portfolio. I had my Bitcoin, I had Ethereum, I had Chainlink, and I wanted to add one more that I felt like wouldn't be as volatile. Like, meaning, like we saw, like last night, BAT token went from $1.40 during the day to like 86 cents at night, in the middle of the night. Then I woke up in the morning and it was back to like 112. So, you know, I could deal with that, but I can't deal with that with my whole entire portfolio. So ADA I added in there because I wanted something more, you know, that was going to run more in an asymmetrical line. Yeah, definitely. A couple other tokens that I'm looking at. I really like Civic token. I don't own it. That's ticker symbol CVC. What time frame? Because I expect Bitcoin to be over $1 million a token. You know, in about 7 to 10 years, I think Bitcoin is going to be about $1 million per coin. And I know that's hard for people to wrap their head around, but that's because we price everything in dollars or wherever your native currency is. By year's end, I think we'll be in the 120 bull case, 120,000, 85, 90,000 base case. But I think next year is going to be Bitcoin's be a big year, because I think that's when inflation's really going to show. I think that's going to be a very difficult. The second half of 2021 and next year, I think are going to be difficult in the United States as far as like the currency itself. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too, Sean. And again, man, I'm concerned about quite a few things. The national debt, if they start deferring on some of those payments, you know, inflation, a lot of those things. And I look around, I don't think the printing is done either. That's the other thing. I mean, these governments globally, not even just the United States government, globally, I mean, they're inherently printing. I feel like there's a war on currency, and I feel like they do that in a lot of ways. And you know, to keep inflation, they want the inflation to keep the middle class. And they say that, you know, they want the middle class there, and they want to, you know, they want to close the gap. But reality, though, when they're manipulating interest rates as they're printing money, which they know will turn into inflation, and then they're going to raise capital gains tax. Like they're literally there will be no middle class. There'll be rich people and there'll be poor people. I mean, there's no other scenario when you're doing this, you know? So I feel like when I'm drawing those lines, what that means to me is it's going to be like people who own Bitcoin and people who don't own Bitcoin, because the currency itself is being debased. So that's why I'm such a believer in Bitcoin. I'm like 60% Bitcoin right now, you know? 60% of my net worth is in Bitcoin, you know what I mean? And and I feel comfortable with that. You know, I want to be a saver. I want to have a store of value. I just don't know where to put it. You know, losing purchasing power every single day, you know? Right. You know, and you just look at the prices of houses. I mean, you know, the price of my house last year was X amount of dollars. It's like 35% higher now. I've done minimal aesthetic improvements, minimal. To put like a tile down in the bathroom, like barely anything. I did a Zestimate the other day. The price of my home was 35% higher than it was with nothing. And is that because they want me to think my home's more valuable? It's not. It's just not. It's just not the truth. The fact is that the consumer price index, the CPI, is not a good indicator of inflation. And it's just that simple. And you know, they want you to think everything's fine, you know, but you know, yeah, the CPI. So your Netflix subscription, or if you live in your mom's basement, sure, inflation is probably 2%, right? But you know, my small business, I pulled up a chart in a video the other day. I did a video 2 days ago. Lumber's up 256%. 256%. So if I'm a contractor, if I'm a builder, which I am, how are you going to tell me that inflation's 2%? You know what I mean? Lumber itself is 256% higher. I got to give a quote to a customer and tell them the price right now. This is the truth, and I don't know. Maybe somebody could back me up in the comment section if they're dealing with it in their area. If I give a quote to a customer, the quote is good for 7 days because I don't know what the price will be after 7 days. So I'll give you a quote. Listen, you got to get back to me in 7 days. If you don't get back to me in 7 days, we got to reprice it because I don't know what the price of things will be. That's how volatile the prices of things are. So I'm afraid, you know, I don't. My only question is this: who's going to be the bigger fool, or who's going to be the bigger jackass? Ben Bernanke from 05 to 07 telling everybody everything's fine, or Jerome Powell in 2020, 2021? Because I think we're going to hit a rough period. People are resilient. Humans will evolve. I mean, technology is also deflationary, so it'll drive the costs down in a lot of ways. So I think that we'll get through it, but I think there'll be a very difficult period. And I think that wealth can be built in that time. That could be generational. And I don't think it's going to be built in stocks. I really don't. That's why I moved. I shifted. I moved right into the crypto space. Because again, when I got into this, I didn't get into this to make a couple bucks. Like, I want to change my family's life. I want to change the trajectory of generations, my bloodline, my kids, their kids. You know, I want them to understand the role of money. I want them to understand the value of money. I want them to, you know, not be spoiled, but I want them to live good, man, and live stress-free and real freedom. You know, have real financial freedom. And this is the path right here. Please, so anybody out there, you know, if you watch this video, consider reading this book, not just to go buy Bitcoin, just to understand, you know, money in general. Again, he doesn't even mention Bitcoin till like halfway through the book. It's a fantastic read to understand like how economics, you know, and how they've worked throughout history. And again, I can also say, like, I do understand that technology is deflationary. So let me be clear on that. But that's a pretty crazy bet, right? Like, that's a pretty wild bet, like, you know, because at the same time, I can make the argument on the other hand that as deflationary as technology can be to lower the cost down, it also takes away a lot of jobs, right? I look at a company like Berkshire Grey, right? They're going to automate warehouses. Warehouses are only 5% automated now, which means it's 95% manual. They're going to eat into that. That's less jobs. Tesla, the semi-autonomous, Tesla, the self-driving cars, Uber drivers, truck drivers. Truck drivers are the #1 job for uneducated males, on-college educated males in the United States. That job will be gone. That won't be there. You know what I mean? So yes, technology is deflationary. So I understand that argument, but I'm also not an idiot, and I also know that they'll take jobs away, right? And yes, so they say they add jobs, but that's going to take away more jobs than it adds, right? How many robotics mechanics or how many programmers, blah, 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 you know what I mean? So there's going to be a difficult period. That's why I felt like, this is what I say. People go, Bitcoin's so expensive, I can't afford to own it. And my reply is like, you can't afford not to. You know, you can't afford not to. At least own some, you know, because as a regular person right now, you're here, and they're telling you that the consumer price index, the CPI, is 2%. But in reality, though, look, copper, commodities, corn, soybeans up like 85%, lumber 200%, the price of a house. How about, you know, a college education? Those are getting further and further away. It's like you're like stuck in one spot. Your wages are the same, and those things to live a good life are just getting further and further away. And it's sad, you know, and you know, that's why, man, I just believe in, you know, I just believe in Bitcoin, and I needed to own some, and I fell into the rabbit hole, and the more I learned, the more I was like, well, why do I even really want to own anything else? You know, Bitcoin and Tesla are the two best, you know, they're the two best assets in the world, I think. But the problem is, to own Tesla, I'd have to own it in fiat currency, which I just have no faith in, you know, because you know, you're losing purchasing power, and you know, that's really how I feel there. Now on the other hand, you know, I did take a small amount of money, and I'm playing with some of these DeFi protocols and Ethereum, and they are a little bit more speculative. But you know, that's where I think some of the big runners are going to be. That's where I think like the 100x runners are going to be in DeFi, in crypto, in Decred, in things like that. Hey, Eric, master of the coin. Yeah, I know, man. I fell in the rabbit hole. You know, I went in, I tried to go in, you know, because there was like people who were obsessed with it and the people who hated it. And I got into it, and I was like, I got to figure this out on my own. And I got it. You know, I ended up, I'm a believer, man. I'm a believer. It's all about the monetary policy. And man, it's really fascinating too to think about like the role of money and how it connects to crazy things like in psychology and how they control the money. And it really makes me wonder, you know, like do you really trust these people? Like I don't, you know. And yes, that's what I suggest, Sean. That's what I've been doing, man. I moved a big portion of my money into my portfolio into I sold a bunch of stuff, went like 55% Bitcoin, you know, got myself one, and I've been dollar cost averaging since. You know, my business, I just got my Q1 check. You know, I didn't even like when earlier in the video you somebody asked what they would do with a lump sum of money, and I just went through it. I got a lump sum of money, and I didn't even hesitate. I bought Bitcoin. That was it. You know, I didn't even. I took not small amounts of money, you know, whatever, but like a large amount of money, like, or to me at least, you know, there's no doubt in my mind what the best asset in the world is. I'm positive, you know, my conviction is there. And again, it just goes basically back to and again, we'll be fine. We'll get through it. I'm sure we will, because people are resilient, and And technology is awesome, but I see an opportunity. I'm going to take it. Again, when I started investing, I wanted to change my family's life. I'm fine. I'm going to get by. I'm going to be fine. I'm always going to be fine. But my kids, my grandkids, my this, my that. Nobody in my family took chances, took risks before me. And I want to be that person in my bloodline, or I'll just be like everybody else. I got by, I lived my life, I tried my best. But this is like, generational change or fail. So, 2% anyway, 5%, 10%, it's not going to cut it regardless. So, I'm looking for big things. And, I think it's Bitcoin. So, any thoughts on XRP? I mean, they're another one too. Somebody told me too. I seen the guy talking about XRP going to $10 a coin. They already have a 70 or $60 billion total net value or market cap, whatever term you want to use. So I don't know. How do they 10x from there? Is it a $700 billion company? No, definitely not. I don't want anything. That's kind of my thoughts on it. The total net value, I could be wrong, but I think it's like 70 or 80 billion already. So I would have to feel comfortable and say XRP is a $1 trillion project at some point to buy it. And I don't see that. But I'm always, also consider, if you like it, I'm wrong. I'm wrong often. So a lot of people like Ripple a lot. And when you think of the international moving money at the speed of light internationally, there's value there. So what the hell do I know? So, Ripple may be a great investment. I love Ether. I started this here. Check this one out. I think you'll like this one, Eric. Check this one out. I'm going here. So this is Ether's transactions. This is their fees. Look at the amount of money they make, Eric. On February the 23rd, in transaction fees, on February 2nd, they made $49.8 million in one day. On April the 20th, they made $47.3 million in fees in one day. Those were their two highest. But look, every day this year, they've made $10 million in fees pretty much. Quite a few days, they've made 30. So despite their people say they have trouble scaling. They're having trouble scaling because their gas fees are so high, but it seems like they're doing just fine. I mean, they're monetized, the adoption's going up. But I really like some of these layer 2 solutions. There's somebody could possibly knock Ether off, but I don't think so. I think that these layer 2s are going to really help Ethereum and help it scale, like Matic. If you look here, Matic would be the payment layer. Pretty much, it would make the blockchains inoperable, that you can do the transaction. You don't have to do the transaction on the main net and pay the gas fee. A company like Polygon, or a project like Polygon rather, would do the transaction off the main chain, with zero knowledge rollups, which is something like 35,000 transactions per second, at close to zero, like a penny or two, which is pretty remarkable. So I think as people, oh shit, I messed that up, didn't I? This is what I was showing you here. So Ethereum, so they would do this would be the transaction layer, would be done by Polygon off the Ethereum chain, and then the funds would go back. So I think that these layer 2s are going to be very lucrative in the interim. And yes, yeah, Sean, exactly. Matic, LRC, and Scale, but I think that Matic is the best one, because Matic and Polkadot are the two that they can make blockchains inoperable. They can communicate with other blockchains. So they don't need to. Oh, excuse me. They don't need to. They don't need to just be on Ethereum. Polygon can operate, cross chain between, make quite a few blockchains inoperable. But Polkadot is not compatible with Ethereum, which bothers me, because I do expect Ethereum to stick around, you know, for and be number two. I do expect that. And Polkadot not being a benefactor from the security and the robustness from Ether. You know, I don't know that I like Polkadot as much as other people do. I do, obviously there is value, but I really like Matic, man. I really think that's going to be huge. I just the zero knowledge rollups and being inoperable with a few blockchains, you know, being able to, you know, imagine being able to use Wrap Bitcoin, you know, which is an Ether 20 token, but Wrap Bitcoin on Cosmos's blockchain, or, you know, Tezos or whatever, you know. I mean, there's going to be big value in that. So the projects that allow the blockchains to be inoperable and communicate fully are the projects I think that are going to be extremely lucrative. Well, the reason I like DOT too is because Gavin Wood is their founder, and he's one of the original founders of Ethereum. He's a hard guy to bet against, you know. I feel like he'll figure it out. But just the fact that they're not compatible with Ethereum, that bothers me, because for them to do well, that means Ethereum won't be around. And I don't see a scenario where Ethereum's not around. But obviously the best two are Bitcoin. And then there's a big drop off. Again, now you gotta remember, Ethereum doesn't even have their functionality nailed down, right? Remember, they're switching from proof of work consensus to proof of stake. That right there is an admission that something isn't working right, by their own admission. So they're letting you know we're a speculative asset just with that alone. So be careful. I wouldn't go and put like 100 grand in Ethereum, you know what I mean? But, you know, I mean, I think that they'll figure it out. I do expect them to do pretty well. Well, because Chainlink is the one, man. This is one I want anybody. I don't care if you hate crypto. I don't care if you're anti-crypto. You got to at least acknowledge the fact that smart contracts are the future, right? Smart contract. Even if crypto gets blackballed, blacklisted, it's gone. Bitcoin's gone. Everybody's gone, right? Smart contracts are fantastic. Smart contracts are great. You know, they're smart contracts. I mean, they're more efficient. They're better. And the fact that Chainlink is the project that'll make, you know, the centralized world able to use smart contracts, and again, the oracles using real, you know, basically like nodes using real world data, whatever they are. If it's a smart contract for a will, if it's a smart contract for a sports bet, if it's a smart contract for your refrigerator light, or a red light for your municipality, whatever. There's a lot of value with that. And Chainlink to me is right behind Bitcoin and Ethereum. Those three, 1, 2, 3, maybe even Chainlink 2, to be honest with you. And then anything after that, I think is you're rolling the dice. You're really rolling the dice at this point. But again, my favorites are Matic, the BAT token, Mana, and am I missing one? I think, yeah, and those are my favorites. If you just got in the live stream, make sure you tap that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. We're experimenting a little bit. We're talking about crypto. It's not just a crypto channel, so don't be turned off if you're in this video and you want to hear about stocks. I still love equities. I still love stocks. Just at the moment, you know, I'm more of a momentum trader. I'll be the first one to admit it. I go where I see the money in the moment, or where I see the opportunity at the time and right now. And for the foreseeable future, this is where I see my opportunities, at least, right? I'm a growth investor. I like investing in technology, innovative technologies. And this is the most innovative technologies, I think, in the history of humans. So, Rune, yes. Thorchain, yeah, amazing. They're incredible. I would say like Thorchain is like kind of like Square, right? Like it's like buying Square early. Like if you could get Square at like $15 a share early, you know, that's what Thorchain is a monster. And by all look, like everything that they're saying, Like that's a 5-star blockchain, you know, that's a strong blockchain. That's a blockchain that could possibly be, you know, that could be a problem for Ethereum. That's one. And Cardano too. What I don't like, one thing that I don't like about Ethereum is that they're not decentralized. They sit, you know, that's kind of defeats the purpose of crypto, you know, or the things that I love about Bitcoin are that it's decentralized and nobody can control it, and it's scarce. And Ether doesn't have either of those properties, but what they do offer does have a lot of value. So that's undeniable. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, MetaMask. Yeah. That's why wait till people start to figure out that Matic and you know, a lot of look, man, every day developers, Matic is coming with partnerships and collaborations every day. 2 days ago, they announced a partnership and collaboration with Curve Finance. 3 days or day before that, or a week before that rather, liquidity pool with Aave. Aave is one of the biggest DeFi protocols out there right now. It might be the biggest DeFi protocol out there. So it's good to see developers and projects being built using Matic. And then one of the ones, it's really speculative again, but I'm big. I really like Decentraland for the fact, again, that I think that, you know, a micro trend like virtual real estate will swing. I don't know when, but kind of like how art just passed. I think that at some point that virtual real estate will be a thing, and I don't know how long it'll last or when or whatever, but I really think that it's going to happen. And the Mana token is going to be the token that benefits from that. So to be able to get it, I think it's $1.25 right now, but when I got it, it was like 80 cents. I was like, man, this is a pretty good opportunity. So that was one that I went pretty heavy on. What am I doing in fiat? You know what, Eric? I haven't done anything that new in fiat land. Let's see. Well, I still own. I own what I own. I own Tesla. I own Roku. I own Pure Storage. A bunch of Pure Storage call options for 2023. I still own Invitae, and I've been adding to Invitae too. That's the one I've been adding to, NVTA. That was a position that I have been building out over the last couple of weeks. But honestly, my stocks or long term, I believe those are the companies I believe in long term. Like meaning, I don't care what happens. Like if I wake up tomorrow and the stock market gets hit 50%, that was what I asked myself. I said, if everything took a 50% hit, what would I hold on to? And that's what I held. And there were six of them. There was Tesla, or I'm sorry, 7 of them. There was Tesla, Square, Roku, Invitae, Aqua Bounty, Pure Storage, and I think there's one more that I'm forgetting. But everything else, like that I was on the fence with, it'd be like, I'm not going to sit there and wait. I'm not going to get, like, if I got hit with 50%, I don't have the patience, or I don't believe in it enough. If I had to wait 2 years to recoup my initial investment, if the answer to that was no, then I sold and I put it in Bitcoin, because I'm basically Bitcoin and Tesla is most of my portfolio, and then, you know, and then I've been playing around with the other stuff. You know, until I see more. Until I see like more, you know, until I feel better about the situation, like less printing and more, you know, more of a commitment to, you know, the fiat being more of a store of value and reasonable economics. Like, I don't know. I'm not going to, unless stocks start flying around again. If I could see penny stocks like flying around, SPACs get hot again, sure, I'll jump back in and start swing trading. But for now, I'm just messing around with, I'm messing around out of fiat, you know. All right, we've been here over an hour. I'm going to get ready to wrap it up. Hey, guys, thank you so much for joining. Always appreciate, you know, you guys hanging out with me, BSing. Hope everybody has a great weekend. No, I don't own Amazon or Google. I was kind of late to the party on both of those. By the time I I didn't really start buying any stocks until like 2019-ish, and by that point they were already way up there. But I was fortunate enough to get in on the Tesla bull run. I was very lucky there. I got in like at the perfect time for that. But that's really it. But again, man, I hope everybody has a great weekend. Thank you so much for hanging out. Stay tuned. I'm going to be making I'll probably do a stock video pretty soon. But my next couple videos, at least, are going to be deep dives into some of the DeFi protocols that I own. Look out for a Matic video. Look out for a basic attention token. Bitcoin updates will be coming. I'll make sure I stay true to my roots, and stocks videos will be, stock update video will be coming soon too. But again, guys, thank you so much. Thanks, Sean. I'll talk to you guys soon. See you guys soon. Have a great weekend, everybody.